On this episode of the Best of Bias Podcast, we got episode 212 coming at you live from the stew. It's your boy, Lydell Dinero. Happy belated Father's Day. Happy belated everything to y'all. Pride Month, Men's Mental Health Wellness Month, all that stuff. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, a great week, whatever day you're listening to this pod. It's your boy. I know it's a little late, but I got a lot of stuff to talk about and a little bit of time. Try to squeeze it all in there for you before we get lapped up on for this next week. But it's your boy, Lydell Dinero. New episode of the Best of Bias Podcast. Well, welcome all new listeners. Everybody else that be here all the time, welcome back. It's your boy. Let's get right to it. I said it's your boy like 17 times, so if you didn't know, it's your boy in the building. Hey, so let's get right to it. Where's the theme song hat? No long talking. Thank you guys all for being here, because you could have clicked any podcast in the world, could play on any podcast in the world, but you clicked play on this one. And let's get right to it. Without further ado, this is the power for you. Yeah.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
What's up? It's your boy. Again, I said that. Hey, bro, I'm honestly, it's your boy Strick. I'm going to keep saying it. Welcome to the Best of Bias Podcast, where you bring everything to the table. We talk about everything, bring that thing to the table. Whatever you want to talk about, we talk about it today. We talk about it whenever you click. We talk about it whenever you come here. And hopefully you got some good stuff to the table today that y'all want to talk about. We laid on a couple of topics. I know you guys are probably like, oh, it's been a while since this happened. But hey, man, hey, you know how it goes sometimes. I'm going to give you a little fresher, because we get into the dog days of sports. We got NFL coming up a little later, NBA draft coming up a little later. But right now, NBA finals just ended. It's WNBA right now and baseball in season, but WNBA is really short. We're getting to the dog days. It's still like 120 days until baseball playoffs start. So, it's a little slow in sports, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about besides just sports. You got some pop culture and cinema corner like always. Sorry, today there's no guest to join me. It's just me. But fuck a big three. It's just Big Me. That's all you really need. We're gonna talk about the pop out today too, and the response that it got out there in LA, man. So there's a lot to talk about, man. There's a little bit of time. But again, I just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. It was last week. I hope everybody did get a chance to enjoy themselves, get a chance to experience the love. Whether it be from other people wishing you a happy Father's Day, whether it's from your family in general. If you don't have a family that's with you and you are a father, you don't get to spend it with your kids or your loved ones, I'm wishing you a happy Father's Day as well. Father's Day is not really a holiday that I really experience a lot, but I do wish a happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers, new fathers, fathers that stepped up and took that responsibility a long time ago to be a father and the best father they can be. So shout out to everybody. Hopefully everybody, again, mental health as well. Not only men's, though I said happy Men's Mental Health Month, but everybody out there, hope everybody's doing well. I like to check in on everybody before we get really started in these topics, because nothing's more important than your mental health and how you feel about yourself, how you feeling inside, you know what I'm saying? Because without that, you wouldn't be able to listen to this podcast. I like to check on that firstly. And again, new listeners, thank you for clicking play. Hopefully it's something that you enjoy. We usually have a bunch of topics on the docket that everybody's talking about in the last couple of weeks of pop culture, sports, news, anything that you kind of, it's out there. It's really popular being talked about. We're probably going to talk about it on this podcast for y'all. So thank you for clicking play here. Let's get right into it. First of all, I want to start off by saying RIP to the great Willie Mays before I even get into any sports here, because, I'll be remiss if I didn't do so. Willie Mays, excellent baseball player, San Francisco Giants, you know what I'm saying? Being a Bay Area boy, I'm not necessarily a Giants fan, but you always hear about Willie Mays and all his contributions to the world records and the record books. I wrote down a bunch of stats that I had, but there's too many stats to list. MVPs, championships, Golden Gloves, record-setting home run club. Like it's just a whole bunch of accolades, and just being one of the players to help cross the color barrier for not only baseball, but just helping it start for all sports in general. He did a bunch for our civil rights and to push the game forward and to be the game that we see today. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the biggest baseball fan, so I'm not gonna go front and say like I followed his accomplishments, but as I read up on him and as I kind of looked more into the accomplishments of Willie Mays, it's just, man, he was definitely a pioneer. Anybody who likes sports in general just needs to give him a thanks just for everything that he's brought to not only the baseball game, it's just sports in general. Like I said, like it's very influential. We probably will never really see anybody like Willie Mays ever again. And again, I just want to send prayers out to his family, prayers out to him, and you know, rest in peace to a legend. I might not be doing it justice by my little brief spill on his career and kind of highlighting it briefly, but I do apologize. But I do wish from the bottom of my heart, you know, a rest in peace, and this prayers out to everybody. I think it was like 80 something. We're losing a lot of our legends, man. Like I said, we had wow, names are slipping my mind now. Jerry West, it's my guy, my Pac-12 guy. Why is his name slipping my mind? I am so mad right now. I am sorry, my guy, Bill Walton. Bill Walton, sorry. Woo! I would have got killed online for that one. I'm sorry, Bill Walton, rest in peace as well. Now, Willie Mays, Donald Sutherland just passed away. RIP. We're losing a lot of our I mean, that's how it happens with age, but you know, it's still not, you know, I'll be remiss if I didn't say RIP, or, you know, it's still sad that these people are passing away, some of our heroes and celebrities from back in the day. Sad when anybody passes, but it just gives us, you know, a reality that we're actually getting old out here. And, you know, a lot of our stars that we loved as a youngin', they're going to start passing away. It's going to show you, it's going to just make you question your mortality as well. But it's what happens, but it's just kind of crazy once you get old enough to start noticing. You know what I'm saying? When you're young, you're like, oh, whatever, this person's old. But like, as the people that are getting closer to your age that you looked up to all your life is starting to pass away, it's like, damn. But yeah, RIP. But let's get into these sports, man. It's been way too long without me congratulating the Boston Celtics on raising that 18th banner. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard. The whole gang, man, they did it, man. I had my doubts all season. I thought the East was a little walkthrough and the Celtics didn't, you know, just like the other naysayers, they said that the Celtics had an easy path, so they wouldn't be ready for the moment. In Dallas, I did pick Dallas to upset the Celtics, but after the first couple of games, in last episode, me and Damo were having a discussion. It was like, yeah, Dallas wasn't ready. This team was put together to win the championship, to do what they couldn't do the last, 4 out of 5 out of 60 times they've been to this final, the conference finals and the finals. You know, between both of those, they've been there a whole bunch of times the last couple of years. They really couldn't get it done. People were questioning, was Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, were they good enough to even be able to play together to win that championship? Would you have to split them up to try to get more to, you know, solidify the team? We saw Drew Holiday be added. We saw the ascension of Derek White. You know what I'm saying? We saw them at Kristaps Porzingis, and it's like, again, I thought we should pay more attention to that, the fact that they're stacking and making a big five. Everybody's making fusses about big threes, maybe even big fours, but quietly, the Celtics all season had a big five, and nobody really made a fuss about it, and they just walked through the East. Like 20 games above the second place. No, I wouldn't say 20, about 12 at least. I would have to say 12 to 20 games in front of the second place team in the East. They walked through the Eastern Conference playoffs, especially with a bunch of injuries, but they were sitting there waiting for Dallas to play. They're sitting there waiting for Indianapolis to beat the Knicks. They swept, I think they did sweep whoever they played in the first round. I think they swept the Bucks. I always forget what the path was for the Celtics, the exact path, but it was light, and that's where all the doubt came from. You know, Brad Stevens, Ime Udoka, I keep forgetting this fool's name for the Celtics, and Joe Mazzulla, I think his name is. They did a great job coaching the guys up, keeping their egos in check. You know what I'm saying? It'll be easy to jump ship like a lot of these stars do when they couldn't actually get it done against the Warriors and all the finals against Miami and all the other teams. When they had chances to get it done, they could have easily punted and just tried to go in a different direction. But Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum sticking together, keeping the team together, letting each other know that the egos, and though, Jaylen Brown got that big ass contract, Jason Tatum's due for a big ass contract, everybody's getting paid this way and that way. Nobody's ego stood in the way for them to get the ultimate goal done, and they did that, man. People were down on the whole way too, and they did a good job of keeping their mouths closed and not letting them that affect them, especially Jason Tatum, man. People, again, I talked about how fickle the media is, especially NBA media. One second they love you and they expect you to do great things, and the second you don't do it on your first try, they're always ready to jump ship and find the next big thing. Jason Tatum, throughout the regular season the last couple of years, have always gave people reasons to think that he's going to be the next superstar in the league. And people thought that he can take the torch from LeBron and actually be the face of the league, because they're trying to anoint, of course, the league to an American player opposed to the European players that are actually running the league right now. Jokic, Doncic, SGA, all these guys are not all from America. So we're looking for the American player to take the torch from LeBron and kind of hold it down. Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brunson. I know Jalen Brunson isn't on that level yet, but let New York media tell it, and he's the next best thing since sliced bread. So these guys, everybody's just waiting for them to take the next step and take the torch. We saw once Dallas beat Minnesota and OKC, where they're talking about Luka and Kyrie as the most talented and the best duo, backcourt duo ever in the league offensively. It's like, it's just so fickle. And then they jump ship and then go to Jason Tatum. They want to give everything to Jason Tatum. It can't be a team accomplishment. They want to give it all to Jason Tatum and anoint him the leader of the Celtics. But you have Jaylen Brown on the other side, balling out defensively, and is able to take the reins when Jason Tatum does have off days. You have Drew Holiday, who's able to guard 1 through 4, and do what he wants to do offensively, facilitate the ball. And then you have Derek White, who can make big shots in the moment and also D's up. Then you have Porzingis, who can pull up from 30, 7 feet tall, has a defensive prowess out there blocking shots, and has a mid-range that's unstoppable once he gets it going. And then you have Al Horford out there playing. It's like the confidence that you have from day to day, knowing that even if your game isn't there, that you have somebody with potential to score at least double figures, at least give you a good 15 with some great defense on the other side to stop the other team from scoring. So that's what happened. Luka wasn't able to do it by himself. The injuries, I guess his knee and some other injuries lingered on into the finals. Also Kyrie, after the first couple of games, after the Western Conference Finals kind of fizzled out a little bit, we were looking for him to get it going in the finals, but it never really got going. You know what I mean? It just didn't. I guess all the accolades. I mean, I'm still happy about Kyrie's arc, how it came full circle. I'm excited about the Dallas Mavericks future and all, but I did expect to see a bigger showing, because we wanted to say, the easy route cannot be rewarded. You know what I mean? We wanted to say the team that came out of the West is going to win the championship because they played so many dogs trying to get there. We wanted to say the Celtics being able to play a whole bunch of injured teams, them being able to play their last couple of games in the Eastern Conference Finals without Halliburton on the other side. It's just, and the Celtics, weren't ready to actually play a full team. But no. The stacked team that was healthy most of the year, though they were losing Porzingis, they didn't really need Porzingis. They had Hauser, who was, just like every other big man in the league nowadays, who was a big body that can shoot and put defense on the opposite team's big man. That may be good. That may be like an integral piece of the other team, because a lot of teams have some stars on the team, but nobody really has the star big. Not every team does. You'll find a team with like a forward that's a star or a couple of guard stars, but if you have that one big on your team that can take out the big star on another team, just by getting in his way, maybe getting him in foul trouble, just throwing a body at him, taking him out of his game, and then you can actually bring the big out of the paint by having a 3 to be able to threaten with that too, to bring the big man out to help the other teammates score and do other things. It's also a good thing as well. You know what I mean? So it's nowadays, next year and then years to come, we're gonna have to see what teams do, because as you notice, Minnesota, they were built to beat Denver, but they weren't built to beat a team like Dallas with multiple bigs. So I mean, I just hope the Nuggets have learned from this season. Let me not get too far away from the championship, but yeah, the Celtics did win, had their parade. Jaylen Brown ended up winning MVP of the finals, averaging like 28 and 5. Like 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and defensively he was balling too, like a steal a game. He deserved it, man. I know everyone to give it to Tatum and have him be that undoubted, unquestioned superstar now who is took the Celtics to their 18th ring, first championship since I think 2008. You know what I'm saying? Like 16 years. So that would have solidified Jason Tatum as that player, as the face of the league, I think. But I think at this point, just because it was such a team effort, Jaylen Brown did get his flowers as being the Finals MVP. And we know what everybody else is doing. Goddamn, Peyton Pritchard was coming off the bench at halftime, right before halftime, just to hit half-court shots, and he was knocking them down. You know what I mean? So there's an equal part with everybody that contributed in winning that championship, and I think that was reflected. So you already see them giving concession speeches after winning the championship when they should be celebrating and talking shit and how happy they just kind of already know how it's gonna go. They're gonna give them. They know how that Mickey Mouse championship went for the Lakers. They feel like the Celtics are because nobody wants to give the Celtics that 18th ring. The Lakers and the Celtics winning that 18th ring, everybody else in the league is going to hate on. So any reason for the Lakers or the Celtics to be discredited, I think any other franchise fan in the league is going to just be happy with doing so. But either way, they're going to doubt the Celtics championship being legitimate just for the fact that it was an easy road. They weren't really tested, and the team that they were really supposed to play in the finals that give them the best shot was the Nuggets, the team that they didn't beat all year. Then 2 times they faced them once at home, beat them, faced us once at our place. We beat them. So, you know what I'm saying? They're supposed to play us, but, Minnesota got in the way. Minnesota got handled in 5 games by Dallas. We would have whooped Dallas, but I'm not going to stand on my high horse right now. I just want to let y'all know, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all watched it, but I just want you to get my spiel on the finals. I think it was not really that exciting, to be honest, because it was really lopsided. I wanted to see one game where possibly the Dallas Mavericks kind of held it down and made it nail biting on one of these games, but they did win a game. But it just seemed more so like the NBA wanted to have more games, so they put a bullshit game in where nobody on the Celtics could hit a shot. Then everybody on the Mavericks was hitting shots, and they won by like 30. So it was kind of like not even competitive. It kind of felt like either there was no effort on the Celtics side, or it was called down from the commissioners. Like, okay, you guys if you don't want to play your hardest this game, it would be okay to do so because we want this to stretch. You know what I'm saying? But in reflection, it's just kind of like I think Luka may have taken a little hit on his legacy just for the fact that not only did he only win one game, he didn't do as much as he should have been able to do. They're comparing his run this year to Jokic's run last year. Jokic definitely wouldn't have went out like that last year. So though his legacy may have taken a little bit of a ding after getting taken out in 5 games by the Celtics, but he's only 26. He has a lot of season, like a lot of career to go. So does Tatum. So does Jaylen Brown and the Celtics to go ahead and be able to prove that their team wasn't a fluke. They'll be able to go through everybody again next year with fully healthy rosters. They're trying to re-sign everybody. It seems like everybody's re-signing. The contract for Tatum's in the works. The contracts to re-sign Porzingis. I think they already extended Porzingis. They already extended Drew Holiday, and I think they already extended Derek White. Excuse me. So I think Jason Tatum's the last one that needs to be extended. You can get a super contract. Shouts out to him and Ellie Mae because they actually are having a baby. I saw her out there celebrating with him with the baby bump. And whoever found Jaylen Brown's ring, not the NBA championship ring, but whatever ring that he was showing on Instagram, hey, if you want to split that reward after finding it, you could holler at me. Support the Best of Bias podcast because he lost his ring during the parade. They was out there turning up, but if I'm gonna be completely honest, this parade was so like I expected, the parade to be covered all over TV. Maybe I don't think it was on a weekend, but I feel like the coverage was a little lackadaisical this year. It's the Celtics, you feel me? So I thought it would be a lot more televised all over ESPN and stuff like that. Maybe I didn't watch enough of it because I was binging actual TV shows, but shouts out to the Celtics. Shouts out to everybody there. Let's move on a little bit here. Real quick, just ranking the last 5 champions. Last 5 champions in order this year. Celtics, last year, of course, the Nuggets. Year before that, Warriors. Then we had the Bucks and Lakers. People are questioning out there, what order would you put these teams in? And based on teams, team. It's kind of weird to say team goodness, like the best team. I'm gonna put mine in order here. 1, I'm gonna put the Nuggets. I'm just gonna put us because I think we were really good, and I think we could have beat any of these teams that won the championships in their years. The Bucks, Lakers in 2020, I think we could have beat. even though they had KCP, so we would have to replace KCP with another player. But the Bucks, I think we would have beat them that year. The Warriors, I think they got lucky in beating the Celtics, and of course, I think we could have beat the Celtics with the team that we had last year. And then the Celtics this year, I think we would have beat them. So I'll put ourselves first. Second, I think I'll put the Warriors. Third, I think I'll put the Celtics. No, I may put the Bucks before that. Nuggets, Warriors, Bucks, Celtics championship, and then the Lakers championship. Celtics earned it, but it was pretty easy for them. Lakers and the Mickey Mouse championship, they call it in the bubble. No fans, no pressure, and they beat the Heat. We beat the Heat too. I'm trying to beat the Heat now, man. It's hella hot. But yeah, you already know how I got Nuggets, Warriors, Bucks, Celtics, Lakers, 1 through 5, in ranking of best teams to the championship. How y'all feel about those, man? How y'all feel? Maybe I'm biased. Of course, it's the best of bias. And my Nuggets team, I'm gonna ride for them no matter what. So how y'all feel about that? Who you think the last 5 championships? How y'all rank them? JJ Redick officially hired as Lakers coach before I get off the NBA. It's official. You got a 4-year contract. Supposedly bringing Rondo and Sam Cassell to help coach over there in the Lakers. A lot of fans that I've talked to of the Lakers aren't really the biggest fans of the hire. They feel like JJ Redick doesn't really have the experience that's needed to be the next Lakers coach. We saw what happened to Darvin Ham. We saw Dan Hurley turn it down, who was actually way more qualified, and I heard they wanted to give him like $70 million. But JJ was the pick they went with, and I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but I don't know if it's the best thing. You know what I mean? I think the last teams that he coached was like his 12-year-old daughter's basketball team. I don't really think he coached high school. I don't think he coached college at all or helped coach college at all. So it's going to be an interesting transition. I think he can do it with the support of LeBron James and some of those other minds that are going to be on the bench with him. I think they can get it done. They're going to be under scrutiny. It is the Lakers. I know that, First Take, whatever, Undisputed, they're gonna be in his business every week. ESPN is gonna be in his business every week because whenever it comes to the Lakers, they always want to be on you, whether it be good or bad. They just gotta cover you, and they're gonna twist and turn you. I think JJ may be ready for that, just for the fact that he's been in the spotlight on ESPN for so long. But I mean, being a coach in LA is a different monster. I don't know if he'd be able to handle the fan scrutiny. We've seen him talk and be a commentator, but again, this is a whole different monster. His basketball knowledge, I don't think that's lacking at all. I don't think he'll be, lacking in that department. I hope the players are able to listen to him. I'm hearing that there may be some friction with AD. AD didn't want him as a coach, may not be wanting to listen to him, or maybe jealous of LeBron and JJ Redick's relationship because, they have that podcast. And maybe if things are more coach favorable, LeBron, AD may take offense to that just because, though AD has no right to say anything, don't let the Lakers fan get on me and say, shut up, look, AD ain't got nothing to say. But, we don't want any friction. We want JJ Redick to come out here and just seamlessly step in where Darvin Ham kind of left off. I know that it may be a completely different team. I know that he maybe get kind of like pigeonholed into taking Bronny James in the draft. And I know LeBron is probably not going to be there long enough to even see the end of JJ Redick's tender. So I know that could be a kind of a conflict of interest for AD as well. But I think it's better than, I don't know. Who is the alternative going to be? Dan Hurley turned down the job. Where they're going to recycle one of the coaches that got fired. I know Monty Williams is available now after the Pistons letting them go after 1 year. Again, I don't understand that either. It's like you give the man a terrible roster, and then you expect to. I know it was like one of the worst records in a basketball season ever, and it seemed like he wasn't trying. But just the fact that you're just going to pin the season on him and just release him, and I think he gets like $60 million still in his pocket just for him being fired for the rest of his contracts. I think those contracts are guaranteed. And I think, $65 million buyout, and he had a $20 million buyout last year from the Suns. So that's $80 million that this man can have, and he's going to collect just by not even being a coach nowhere. You know what I mean? That's just wild. And for him to take the Suns to the heights that they made it to in Detroit, having seen something, I'm giving him that contract after 1 year. How does your belief just drop for him? Was there friction within, behind closed doors or what? Because I think with a good off season, maybe trading some of the pieces, some of the repeat pieces you have, like some of the guards they have on the Pistons are so redundant. You have Cade Cunningham, you have Jaden Ivey. Who's the other guy? The other point guard that can't, or other guard that can't score really, can't shoot. They also have Jalen Duren. They have, I think, what's dude's name that would play for the Warriors? The tall ass dude. I forgot his name. Big bro, he's on that team too. It's like they have a whole bunch of bigs, a whole bunch of repetitive positions that all compete. That makes the team hella clunky. Not much shooting. They traded Bojan Bogdanovic over to New York, so it's just kind of messed up. And for him to be let go, and it's just a vicious cycle. It's just a vicious cycle. If coaches like Monty Williams in a good situation like the Suns is getting fired, and he goes to a bad situation like the Pistons, I wouldn't say the Lakers' job, where the team is, because they did make the playoffs last year. I wouldn't say it's as shambles as the Detroit Pistons, but I don't know if he's as good as a coach as Monty Williams. So I don't know if he's going to be able to just bring the team out of the mud and just have a stellar year for them to be able to keep him. If you're cutting people, you guys get what I'm trying to say. I hope for the best for JJ Redick. This next 3-4 months is going to be the craziest shit of his life. I think basketball starts again in October, so he'll have some time to get ingratiated, get his team together. The draft is kind of, I think, next weekend, so he'll be able to pick these players in the draft. Start molding the Lakers in his image. I just hope it doesn't conflict with the trajectory of the team, like. Because I feel like they're going forward, even though Darvin Ham, they made the Western Conference Finals last year. This year, they made the first round, didn't really do well. Both times getting eliminated by the Nuggets. But I feel like with some tweaking, maybe Darvin Ham can get over that hump. But again, I guess the Lakers did have to have somebody to blame, and they weren't going to blame LeBron. They weren't going to blame AD. Nothing was going to happen to Rob Pelinka or Jeannie Buss. So to make an example and show the league and show the team, the fans, that they are trying to make a move in the right direction, they fired Darvin Ham and hired somebody they thought will, one, be a splash name, I think, to get headlines, as well as somebody they felt like LeBron would mold good with, agree with, in his last couple of years with the Lakers, just be really appreciative and cooperative because they're working with him. He's going to try to work with them because though he opted out of his contract this year, he's probably still going to re-sign with the Lakers. So as long as they do what he wants, and this is, I think, part of the building blocks with hiring JJ Redick. So next is going to be drafting Bronny probably with their second first-round pick. And then they're going to go from there. So we're going to see a lot of changes out there in Lakers world. I know I got a lot of Lakers fan friends. So holla at me. How you guys feel about that hiring? Do you think you guys are going to make any progress, or you think you're going to take a step back as far as getting to the playoffs and not making the playoffs through the play-in tournament? You know what I'm saying? This year, the goal needs to be get a top 5 seed at least. Stay away from that play-in because that's not a good look coming out of it 2 years in a row. You feel me? So yeah. Next, we got, a little trade here. Caruso going to OKC. I just had to mention it. I don't think it's the biggest trade in the world. I think OKC is getting a dog for sure. That's going to help OKC a lot as far as defense goes. Lou Jens, Dort, Alex Caruso, and, well, I guess Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a good defender. So having a backcourt and guards and forward that can all defend. And then you have Chet Holmgren at the rim that can defend, of course. And then you have Jalen Williams, which I haven't really heard of him as a good defender, but I know he can get buckets. So, you know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got to defend. You ain't got to defend 1 through 5, you know what I'm saying? But to have 4 good defenders and an all right defender that all can score on the opposite side. I know Caruso can score a little bit. Lugens Dort is coming into his own as far as defending goes. I mean, offense goes, but it's a good addition. As far as Giddey going over to Chicago, gonna be kind of weird. I don't know if he's gonna start, but we'll see. I don't know if Caruso started because I guess they compared Giddey with what's his name, Kobe White over there. They still got DeRozan. I don't know if Levine's coming back. I don't think trade talks are stalled with Levine. Everybody's saying that his trade value really tanked after the injury again. So nobody really is looking to trade for him. There's 15 trade proposals to different teams out there, supposedly from the Bulls to get Levine somewhere, but prayers out to him. But yeah, it's not looking too good. But that Caruso trade could bode good for OKC next year. Like I said, man, this year was going to have to be the year they did it. I did think a lot of these teams, or those two teams in particular, Minnesota and OKC, were a little young in the West to really go out there and compete like they think they were going to be able to do. I do think that, take some lumps and take some losing in the playoffs before you actually make it to the next step. To know what you need, know how to develop, know how to take that loss, know how to recover from that, and just plot out how to win and do what you need to do next year, getting that 1 seed. And because teams are coming back. Grizzlies have all their players back. Sacramento's going to be back. Minnesota, of course, is going to be back. And, OKC's going to be back too. So all these young teams, like I said, the two teams from a couple of years ago, Sacramento and then the Grizzlies that were up on top of the seeds all year and just got their lumps in the playoffs, got taken out. And then this year, Minnesota and OKC, these teams got that experience and they know how it's going to be next year in the playoffs, and we're gonna see how they develop, man. It's been a really good season. Again, we talked about the finals a little bit. Time to reset. The team is over, or the season's over, parade's over. You know what I'm saying? So a new season has officially begun. Off season has started. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to the grind. You feel me? WNBA a little bit. I just want to touch on some numbers here. The Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark game. At this point, this game was hella long ago. So I just want to touch on some of the numbers, man, because that's all we really care about nowadays when it comes to the WNBA. We're attributing the increase of numbers, increase of funding, increase of eyes in general to Caitlin Clark being in the WNBA now, coming over from college. You guys know the story, yada, yada, yada. And there's also arguments out there that A'ja Wilson has been great. Everybody's bringing their eyes to the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, but also because, the Aces have been so good last couple of years, back-to-back championships, A'ja Wilson, finals MVP, back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time MVP and all that. So seeing them do what they're doing in the championship also bring eyes to see if they can 3P with Becky Hammon. That's just a bunch of things, like Becky Hammon being the coach of the Las Vegas Aces, winning 2 championships in a row after being a assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs and being a prospect to be the first woman coach in the NBA. And her winning 2 championships in the WNBA, I think that brought eyes to the WNBA as well. So just that in collection with this, and also that this rookie class that came in, the Cameron Brinks, the Angel Reeses of the world, the Camila Cordozos, and all the Cordozas, and the carryover from these women in the NCAA tournament that we saw this year that we wanted to see, because South Carolina won the championship, Camila Cordozo won the championship, Angel Reese won the championship last year, Cameron Brink was a star at Stanford. So we wanted to see all these ladies play and transition into the league because we know that this draft class was amazing. And then Caitlin Clark, seeing her ascension, just being a phenom herself, just seeing her ascension and how she translates over into WNBA has been brought eyes as well. But overall, negative, positive publicity, that the exposure is there, and those numbers are being reflected. 2.25 million viewers watched Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, the Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever a couple of weeks ago. It was just crazy. That was the game, I think, that the hard foul was taken on Caitlin Clark, and everybody and their mama was talking about how Angel Reese to be suspended, how she needed to get kicked out of the game when she was only given a flagrant one. Though it was a hard hit again, and everybody stopped being so soft. You saw her kind of going for the ball at first, but she couldn't reach the ball completely on the layup. So she overextended and swung through and hit Caitlin Clark in the head. That overexertion and hitting her in the head definitely deserves a flagrant one. It wasn't a regular foul. Whenever you hit somebody in the head hard, it has to be looked at to see if it may have been a flagrant two. But of course, it's going to be a flagrant one after looking at it for a little bit. But for everybody being ready to villainize her and just kind of just kick her out of the game, suspend her for what she did. It was a hard play. It happens all the time in the NBA. And after the fact, she got her shit blocked anyways by the person behind her. I think Angel Reese needs to realize that she did have help in that instance. So she didn't have to foul and swing through to try to make her not make the shot because she was going to get blocked anyways. But I do respect both of them just for saying that it was a basketball play. There was no ill intent at the after interviews. They've been going at it, man. They're rivals now. The first national championship where Angel Reese and LSU was able to win the championship, and then the year after Iowa played, I think LSU, and I don't think it was the Final Four. I think it might have been the Final Four. And Caitlin actually getting that victory. Ever since that victory in last year's tournament, Chicago Sky have played the Indiana Fever twice, and Angel Reese has lost to Caitlin Clark in those games. But both teams aren't really that good, and they're both trying to find their way. And their games are definitely both different. And I think Caitlin's game kind of equates to winning a little more than Angel's does. Though Angel is crazy on the rebounds, and then she's like, I think one of the first rookies in history to almost like average a double-double for a certain amount of games. I threw that on the Instagram up a little bit ago. So that's, she's balling out. Her game is unorthodox. Don't get me wrong. We've seen her highlights aren't always the best looking, but she's putting in work out there. The attitude she brings, the rebounds, helps with her team's second chance points. Of course, she can kick it out to the corners for threes. Her and Camilla playing together is a force. You know what I'm saying? They can both, those boards, be able to get those boards and put back each other's shots. If they do miss, it's going to be crazy important for their team. On the other side, though, Caitlin Clark's passing abilities, the players around her, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, some of the other players stepping up on the team, as well as her scoring prowess. If they can get together and all mesh as a team and actually like each other, you know what I'm saying? It looks like they don't really get along that well. I saw an instance where Caitlin Clark, one of the centers, I think her name, Alyssa Smith, I want to say. I may have her name wrong, but anyways, 3 seconds in the key on one of the girls on the team. She was trying to go and give Caitlin Clark a high five, a low five, I guess it was. But Caitlin Clark hella moved her hand. Like, hella caught it and put in, like, sent it to my group chat. I'm like, why would she do that, man? Like, she was just trying to give you a little five, like, good game, let's get back in the game type thing. And she just moved her elbow, just like, oh, nah. Like one of those things, when people walk up to you, you don't expect them to walk up to you and flinch a little bit and like you try to play it off type shit. The girl actually blatantly tried to go reach out for a high five, just reach her hand out as she walked by, and Caitlin Clark, as she got close to her, she like grabbed her elbow and like moved her hand, like a weird ass attempt to try to play it off, but it was obvious what was going on. It's kind of weird, but not to put that on anything and just get back to what I'm talking about. It's just crazy. Yeah, Angel Reese's and Caitlin Clark are bringing a lot to the game. But I don't want to be one of those guys that think that they're the only reason why we're getting eyes there. I mean, I'm a Sabrina guy, Sabrina Onescu, and I've been watching ever since her getting drafted from Oregon. I'm also a Satu Sabali fan, not as big as Sabrina, but they both are. Anybody from Oregon, anybody that plays for Oregon who is balling out in the league, not just balling out, but I support all my Oregon Stars no matter what sport it is. So I've been following for a while. The whole Olympic fiasco, the whole all-star team fiasco is just going to be a lot. And I think anything that Caitlin Clark does is going to be talked about and blown up, negative, positive. So I just think we're all in for a ride, and let's just enjoy it while it's going, and just let's do what we can to push it forward. Let's take all the negative connotations. Sometimes the bickering on the court is cool, but to blow it up and just I wouldn't say death threats, just the threats and the name calling, the disrespect online afterwards, just because you feel some type of way about how you feel like the girl should feel on the court just for how shit was happening. It's a lot. I mean, I know it comes with it, but let's go, man. Can we aid? Let's get their mental health. Like let's be a aid in their mental health. Let's not just take them down. Because again, without your good mental health, with all this drama, we don't know how Caitlin's going to respond yet. We don't know how Angel Reese is going to respond yet. It actually looks like Angel Reese kind of excels off the hate, but we don't really hear much from Caitlin Clark as far as how she's being affected in the media. You hear a lot of stuff being talked about her, but we don't really hear her talking how she feels as much as about the narratives that are being created. And maybe that's a good thing, but again, prayers out to WNBA. I hope it just keeps excelling. Valkyrie, we can't wait to see you. New York Liberty, keep balling out. Sabrina, keep balling out. And Satu, I can't wait till you come back, girl. Let's get it. A little bit of boxing. Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. That was last week as well. I'm a little behind on my topics, but Gervonta knocking niggas out again. The fight is incredible. It was interesting. Really good fight. Las Vegas, Gervonta Davis. I think he's like, if I'm not mistaken, like 30, with like 28 knockouts, 27 knockouts, something around that. 30 could be 32-0 with 30 something like that. We just know that Tank be knocking niggas out. So basically in this fight, we saw the lead up, we saw the face off where Gervonta Davis made Frank Martin flinch, and we kind of knew from there that it might be a long day for Frank Martin. Frank Martin is a bigger dude. He held his own there. We heard that he was a good fighter. But we already know how Gervonta Davis gets down. We saw the whole shit during the Ryan Garcia fight. He talks a lot of shit, and he usually backs it up. He calls his shot. He told Ryan Garcia he was going to knock him down with a body shot, and he did that shit. And supposedly after making Frank Martin flinch in the face-off, he told Frank Martin and supposedly a fan who saw him out in Vegas before the fight that he was going to knock Frank Martin out in the 8th round, and he did just that. The fan that did get told supposedly that Gervonta was going to get knocked, or Gervonta was going to knock Frank Martin out in the 8th round, cashed out on that bet. So I don't know. He be calling his shots, and the whole fight, it was interesting because it did look like Gervonta was losing. Gervonta was kind of more in defensive mode, just kind of reading Frank Martin's punches and shit like that. Frank Martin was throwing some combos. The thing about Gervonta, though, he wasn't backing down at all. He would just get up in Frank Martin's space, keep walking up, even though Frank Martin would throw some shit trying to get through Gervonta's guard because he wasn't throwing a lot of shit at the beginning. Gervonta was still using his jab, using body blows to keep him honest and kind of walking him down. And I like that about Gervonta. Though he lost a lot of the first couple rounds because he wasn't doing as much as Frank Martin was. When it got to about the 6th round, I think his corner told him that, or he may have known that, just based on the effort that he was given. But he did turn it up, and 6-7 in round 8, of course, because that's when the knockout happened. Again, we saw them exchanging blows. We would see Frank Martin throw a couple of combos, 1, 2, 3, get through Gervonta's guard, and then Gervonta would throw a counter or try to get Frank Martin in the body, or just kind of like test out his shots. But he never really turned it up, or in my eyes, won a round. Frank Martin would win by a couple of points each round, and I think they did let him know that kind of, because towards the 6th and 7th round, you saw Gervonta throw a lot more punches. We saw him connecting a lot more. We saw Frank Martin start tiring out. He was throwing a lot of punches, so that did tire him out. Maybe that was Gervonta or Tank Davis. Maybe I'll just start saying Tank Davis. Tank's kind of like plan for him to get tired out. And then after a while, I don't know why he would do it, but Frank Martin would just go into a corner and kind of shell up, letting Tank Davis just kind of tee off on him. Like at one point, it looked like he was shelling up and like leaning down. You see Gervonta just throw like 2 haymakers down towards his head, like towards his face, because he was leaning down. Body shot, and just keep throwing haymakers. And then round 6 and 7, that's how they went. But then when he got to round 8, he went back to that corner, shelled up again. But then, Gervonta got through that with an uppercut, dazed his ass, and just hit him with a right and just knocked him down and finished the job. It seemed a little too easy. I mean, like I said, Tank was getting tagged up a little bit. He was getting through that guard in the first 6 rounds, but after, it just seems like Tank knew it was time to turn it up. It's time to lay him down, and you saw those power punches coming. You saw how hard those body blows, how hard he was throwing them, how hard they were connecting. So he was just waiting for that one punch that he needed to throw to knock him down. And we saw him. That uppercut, it sent him night. He was just standing there, knocked out on his feet. And then when that right came, he really just put him down. It was crazy. Right after it, he knew it too, because he went to the ropes and started bouncing on the ropes while dude was down on the ground in the 7 count. I didn't even know you can do that. I feel like that's obstructing the way he's trying to get up. You're shaking the ring, shaking his head on the ground while he's trying to get up and get his consciousness back. So I thought that was kind of like cheating, but he did his thing. Gervonta did. It just seems like every fight they put in front of Tank Davis, he just kind of runs through it and calls his shots and just does his thing. So I don't know who it's going to take to take him out. You already did Ryan Garcia. I don't know if he's going to fight Shakur Stevenson, based on people saying that Shakur Stevenson's last fight was kind of boring. He wouldn't last with Tank Davis. People do want to see the Lomachenko. I heard some rumblings of Lomachenko versus Tank Davis, but I don't know if that's going to happen, man, because I hear a lot. I'm not saying that Tank is scared to take the fight, but I just know that a lot of fighters, except for Bud Crawford, it seems like a lot of fighters don't really want to face fighters that could actually put their streaks to an end, because we already saw what happened with Deontay Wilder. We saw what happened to Tyson Fury. A lot of people that are on top, all it takes is that one punch to take you off your throne, and then that's it. You're not undefeated no more. You're not the big bad anymore. But Tank has been taking a lot of fights. People are saying that he's taking fights from people that he knows he can beat that don't really have a chance to beat him. So maybe that Lomachenko is the next move that he does need to make, but I just want him to be ready for it. And sometimes I just feel like they fight way too soon. I mean, sometimes it's hard to stay away from the ring because then you get out of your prime. You do age, your body does, take hits during these fights. But I feel like I've seen Gervonta fight so many times within the year. How many fights did he fight this year? He fought Tank this year. I think he fought 3 fights this year. Maybe it's just 2 because it is kind of June now. The year just started 5 months ago, so I don't know. But shouts out Tank Davis. Congratulations on that win. And then we saying in the boxing realm, the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight was canceled. I talked about that a little bit last episode as well, due to Mike Tyson's health concerns. They didn't really mention that was why, but we did know Mike Tyson was having some health concerns. So it made sense for them to pull out, especially with the fight being so soon. It's just really interesting for it to be a Netflix event and for them to be able to cancel it like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not though. Maybe not though. They did say that he will be fighting somebody in replacement of Mike Tyson before that, Mike Perry, who I believe was a UFC fighter, another one of those UFC fighters. But there is a catch to this guy. He is a bare knuckle boxer. So he actually boxes for real and he don't be using weighted gloves. I don't know if that may help or be a detriment to him when he fights Jake Paul, because Jake Paul is really used to the gloves, and the bigger gloves are, maybe your punches don't have that much more of an effect if you have obviously bare knuckles and you're not using gloves. Maybe conditioning is different because the rounds last a lot less because you have bare knuckles, or you can knock somebody out easier. We don't know, but I'm just tired of him actually fighting retired UFC fighters that don't really have the hands to go out there. Because Nate Diaz, didn't he fight Nate Diaz? Yeah, he's a boxer and a UFC fighter, but I don't think he was a bare knuckle boxer. But I don't doubt that Nate Diaz can go out there and be a bare knuckle boxer. So I'm just hoping that if he goes out here and does this, that Mike Perry is worth the watch. I mean, I don't know if it's going to get as big of a watch or be as heralded as the Mike Tyson fight, but I respect Jake Paul for still trying to get something done. He still wants some money, and he's still hungry out there to go fight against somebody who is willing to step up in the last minute's notice. I think they still are fighting at heavyweight because it looks like Jake Paul has gained a lot of weight. Maybe he stopped taking the steroids or said, fuck the gym as far as trying to lose the weight, or maybe he just feels more comfortable at heavyweight so he doesn't have to train as hard to keep that weight off to fight. But either way it goes, I still respect Jake for getting in the ring. They're still supposed to be rescheduling the Mike Tyson fight for November, but as more time goes by, the older Mike Tyson's going to get. So I don't know if we really want to see him being in health, having health issues, getting older and getting beat up on by a young man. Even though I'm not saying that Mike Tyson will get beat up, but we don't want to see a 20-year-old fight an old man. And again, Mike Tyson, no offense, but if he's almost 60 years old and Jake Paul is like 25, like, come on now. Let's get some, some amateur boxers. You know what I'm saying? Some good amateur boxers, maybe the same boxing level that he's on. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got to be a professional boxer that has a terrible record. Just have an amateur boxer that has some boxing fights under his belt, who didn't used to be a UFC fighter, who didn't used to be a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Just a boxer. I don't think it's that hard. You live in LA or be in LA at all the times, I'm supposed, but I'm sure you can find somebody off the streets that are willing to fight you for way less money. You wouldn't even, though the draw might not be there, but just the fact that you're fighting against somebody that's actually a boxer, I think that alone will get you a whole bunch of views and a lot more respect in my eyes. But either way, shouts out to Jake Paul. Prayers out to Mike Tyson. Get healthy, man. If you don't want to fight and want to cancel it, I'm sure Jake Paul has other ways to get money. You know what I'm saying? So don't put your health at risk. Don't put your, everybody wants to see you doing well, Mike Tyson. So, do what you can, but don't rush back, yo. The pop out. Let's talk about that now. The pop out. Kendrick Lamar. We all saw that. Amazon, Twitch did a great job of streaming it. If you weren't able to make it to the forum out there in LA to celebrate this monumental event, man. It was crazy. It was crazy as fuck, man. Supposedly, of course, everybody all over the country was talking about going to it. But supposedly, if you bought tickets for the concert and you lived out of state, didn't have LA on your address, he refunded all the tickets, because he wanted it to be a celebration for LA, the West Coast, the people in California. You know what I mean? And I respect that. I respect that a lot because, you know, you could have any kind of plants from other countries, or excuse me, countries, states coming in to try to support and just kind of mess up the event for Kendrick Lamar and try to support the other side when it was all for the West Coast. And it was a West Coast celebration for sure. 3 DJs popped out, brought out a whole bunch of artists, DJ Head, DJ Mustard, and then we had the whole Kendrick Lamar set, whoever his DJ was. But DJ Head came out and held it down for LA, man. All the local rappers, the names are all over the place. Bino Rideau, OGZ, Boo Blux Clan, Jay Worthy and the Whoops, like everybody that probably are out there that you guys know locally in LA. They had a representation on the stage from DJ Head, letting the world see what LA had to offer, not just the mainstream acts that we'll get to those when we talk about DJ Mustard, but it was just definitely representing every side of LA, every set in LA. It was all peace. You see a whole bunch of Crips, whole bunch of Bloods, a whole bunch of other things. They're all represented out there. Just showing the melting pot of LA. And it was all about peace, and it's all about Kendrick Lamar, LA unity, California unity, and it was a, you know, no pun intended, it was a victory lap. You know, we never really had, you know, well, LA in general, they have a lot of artists come out who do get a lot of fame and get hits out there and do get real famous, you know what I'm saying? But Bay Area, other parts of California don't really get the recognition from other parts of the country. And Kendrick Lamar just holding it down, though again, it's not a Bay Area artist, but the respects that he pays to E40, the respects that he pays to other California Bay Area artists, the homage that he pays, it's only right that we just take it as a win for the Bay Area too. Again, people from the West Coast, they're heard of, but they don't get as much respect as the South, as the New York rappers, or the up north rappers and stuff like that. So, you know, for Kendrick Lamar to be able to go in a battle with the biggest star in the world, Drake, who one is from Canada and two I wouldn't say have a really big East Coast and kind of East Coast base, North base. He's famous all over the world, but just for it to seem like it's the West Coast against the world, just because of the fan base that Drake has, and for Kendrick Lamar to go out and do what he did in the battle, it's deservedly so that they put this concert on in celebration and as a victory lap. Again, they had every local artist that anybody in LA ever heard of come out there and perform one of their best songs, one of their favorite songs, and hearing from people that were there on podcasts, the fans and everybody loved it and knew every word to everybody's song. Though everybody on stage didn't really have the best breath control, didn't seem like they, you know, had the most experience with crowds that big or something so monumental. You know, nerves were expected. Not to say you had to be perfect, but it was a good look for the artist, and I love that they're represented. And I love that everybody that was there from LA that may have been fans of these artists got to see one of their favorite artists on stage and not exposed, but had exposure to the world to let everybody know who this artist was, where they were from, what they represented, what kind of music they made, and just show love to people that love them and their city, which was incredible. When you got the DJ Mustard, he brought out a whole bunch of stars. We had, who did DJ Mustard bring out? He brought out Blast. He brought out Roddy Ricch, Tyler the Creator, Ty Dolla Signs. Who else did they bring out? Of course, YG. He played his own songs. He played a Nipsey Hussle set. Kind of just held it down for more of the mainstream, because you already know what DJ Mustard does. He has hits with everybody. Rack City, Tyga wasn't there, but it's just the songs that he had and the okay, this is still local LA shit, but at the same time, it's a local LA guy that took it to the next level of stardom and just put a whole bunch of songs out with these artists that you would never expect a local Compton artist to go out there and reach the peaks that he did. So for him to bring out LA artists that he helped send on this meteoric rise, and some of the songs that came out for these artists back in the day that he had his hands on and he has a part of, it's just like, man, DJ Mustard, you know, just as much as these artists get paid and all the fame they get for all the songs that they make, I think DJ Mustard deserves to get paid as much and just deserves his credit and his flowers, I think, more so than he actually does. I saw him in Vegas perform some of these sets that he had with all the hits that he had, but for him to go out there on stage, the Kid Ink songs, we didn't see Kid Ink out there either, but just the representation of LA and just how many artists from LA that he helped put on, and just how many artists reached out to him to do songs, being a local LA artist, being, I wouldn't say a nobody, but just being an up and comer in the industry. And for people like 2 Chainz to reach out, I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. I don't fuck with you. The Big Sean and E40 songs, just the heights that his actual hits made it to. It's just a great reflection of where he's from and where he's gone. And it's some of the people that he helped put on that give us great music. So it's a great reflection of that. And then, of course, when you get to Kendrick Lamar, you had him come out and just started off with Euphoria, just started off with the 6-minute diss song. The audience was going in on it, knew every word to the song. Kendrick Lamar, down to the lyrics, down to the outfit, came ready to play. You know what I'm saying? Had the Tupac outfit on from when he dissed Biggie. You know what I'm saying? He had Nike Shocks on. He was doing Drake dances up there, played Not Like Us 5 times in a row. Performed all his hits, letting people know that he did have hits. He didn't have to come out here and only play these diss songs to let you guys know who he was. He played all his songs that he had, along with all his homies that he had from TDE, J Rock. We had Ab Soul, Schoolboy Q. We didn't see Baby Keem. That was interesting. He may have been there, but I don't know if they performed the songs. I was playing Call of Duty while I was watching the sets, but I don't remember hearing Baby Keem's song out there. But the songs that he did choose to do were incredible. I loved it, I love the fact that when he was doing Not Like Us, even though he did it 4 times, he took his time to do the lyrics. Though the audience were singing word for word every lyric every time he played it, he made it a point to go out there and rap every lyric, especially the last time when he had everybody that performed on every set, DJ Mustard's set, DJ Headset, come on stage with him during the last time of him playing Not Like Us, and just saying this is bigger than LA. Look at all the unity, all these sides of LA coming together for a monumentous event to celebrate us beating the best rapper in the world in a rap battle. He thought he was gonna be able to step on him just because he's a West Coast artist that people feel like don't get as big as recognition as him, that he can go there and play with Kendrick Lamar. Pause. Nah, it was something that was needed. Juneteenth, man. He was saying that Kendrick Lamar raps like he's freeing the slaves. What better a day to have a monumental concert dissing the guy than the day the slaves were freed on June 19th? You know what I'm saying? You know, it was incredible. You had to have watched it. You can still watch it. It's up on a whole bunch of platforms now. I think they may still have it on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure, but I know they have a whole bunch of review videos, and I watched a 4-hour review on YouTube. So you can watch it on YouTube as well. Right after you get done watching this video, go ahead and click play on that video and watch the thing for yourself. But I thought it was dope, man. I thought it was dope. And the best way to top this off for Kendrick Lamar, I think, would be to drop an album and then go sit down for a while. He did what he needed to do. He got called out in the battle. Actually, I mean, I would say, would you say first person shooter was the call out, or would you think Like That was the first blow to the actual beef that we're getting now? But either way, he came in, did what he did there, responded after getting dissed, had a concert in celebration. What better thing to do would be put out an album, maybe go on tour and just sit down and just be like, hey, look what I did in this span of time. Look how much money I made in this span of time. Look at the effects on the hip hop game. Like he's had so much support from other artists that I guess didn't get along with Drake, that I feel like they have the industry in a better place. I wouldn't say that it's in a better place 100% with Drake out of it, but I feel like a lot of the people that were teaming up and going against Drake kind of wanted to open up a spot for themselves and not really get pushed out. Though it kind of sounds kind of weird that just because Drake was popping and was on top that they couldn't be on top as well. But it just seems like a lot more parody now, right? Like I don't want to see Drake down and out, but I don't want all the discussion to be about Drake all the time. There's a lot of artists out here, and a lot of artists that do fall by the wayside because they don't get enough talking about, and they get washed out from the bigger artists that kind of overshadow everything. I think now with Drake getting touched the way he did get touched, pause, it kind of like, you know, he's gonna spend a little bit of time off, but I think right now, while he is taking a little time off to have these slaps that he's probably going to come back with and have everything. Well, I don't think that anybody's ever going to forget about what went on with the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. I think that it'll be kind of overshadowed a little bit by the slaps that Drake does come out with. The two stupid ass songs that he came out with, or features that he came out with post diss tracks. No. But when he comes out with some fire shit, and people do kind of like get back on Drake's side, and the media and the companies that can't help but get behind some of the stuff that he puts out, start getting on the side again. We'll look back at it and be like, wow, shit, that was a little dent that Kendrick Lamar was able to do. But hopefully during that time, a lot of these other artists that have been in the tuck that didn't get no spotlight, Big Sean's of the world, Tyler the Creator, and though he when he drops his album, he does get a lot of talking about. But these artists that are trying to push the tier and get to that next tier of, stardom. I know everybody has their own lanes and everybody's happy and don't really want to be that top one, because that pressure is probably monumental, because you get so high up on the pedestal, all that's left to do is that tumble down. So some people don't want to get put up on that pedestal because that fall is kind of like hard to climb back from. But I think Drake will be all right. But again, the pop out, it was amazing. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I didn't really do it any justice kind of by going through it hella fast, but you just kind of had to watch it, man. I teared up when the Nipsey set happened, man. It was just all up. E40 narrating the opening. It was just a California concert that, if you weren't really from California and didn't understand what was going on, you probably from the outside looking in didn't really understand. But it was amazing. You'll probably hear about it on your favorite podcast all week, and rightfully so. It was dope. All the Drake stands out there going hella hate it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a stan either way, but I just, for California and just for the representation and the eyes and the personally, a lot of my friends and stuff were saying this is the best thing music concert wise since the Bay Area versus E40 versus Too Short. You know what I'm saying? All the eyes are on us, and let's capitalize off. Let's keep the momentum going. You feel me? Now let's do a little cinema corner before we get up out of here. Some nice short little podcast today. Acolyte. Let's talk about the Acolyte. We did talk about episodes 1 through 3. Episode 3 we talked about a little bit with Damo. Episode 4. Oh man. I'm giving the show a chance, man. I am not the ultimate super huge Star Wars guy, but I do follow. What I'm saying, after people say the Star Wars episode 1 and 2, people don't really like those movies that much, but those were the ones I kind of came up on when I was young. And then I went back and rewatched all the old stuff, and I kind of got into it. The Clone Wars, the animated series, Bad Batch, of course, the Ahsokas of the world, the Mandalorians of the world. I've been watching all that stuff too. So I kind of came in late. So Acolyte, I'm just kind of like, we've been missing a lot of the Jedi stuff. We know the Skywalker arcs. We know the Rey whole side of Star Wars and stuff like that, but we haven't seen many other Jedi in action. So this show is kind of supposed to give us that look, and to spare you guys the details of episodes 1 through 3. Episode 4 kind of picked up after the flashback of showing how Osha and May got to where they are now with the burning of their society, the witch society that they live in, and Osha kind of like getting away and becoming a Jedi, and May just kind of being this evil ass person seeking revenge. But I just don't understand what's going on. It's like, if she set the fire and tried to kill her sister, what the fuck is she mad about? Why is she trying to kill the Jedi? Just because her sister wanted to go become a Jedi, just out of jealousy? That doesn't make sense. And also, to me, it doesn't really make sense why the Jedi are killing themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, what did they do? Did they kill off all the witches after some shit went down? I don't understand how, if May started the fire, why are they responsible? Why do they feel guilty? Why do they keep killing themselves? We saw that one Jedi that was in a trance, unable to be touched, drank the poison voluntarily. And then, I don't know what her name was, but I'm gonna keep calling her Trinity. But Trinity, in the beginning, we saw that she felt a little guilty about the shit that she was going through as well. It's just confusing. And me personally, I just don't want this to be an arc, because you already saw her kill a couple of Jedi. We already saw, after she found out her sister was alive, that the master, Jedi master that she is working for now and was trained by, is giving her false information. We don't know if she was fed to believe that all the Jedis were evil and they did find Osha and killed her, or them turning Osha and wanting her to and her wanting to become a Jedi made it their fault, so she needs to go out and fulfill and kill these Jedi. But the Master is just kind of weird. The motives of the Master is kind of weird. I did watch heavy spoilers, and they do kind of feel like either the dark, I don't want to say the dark one, but that the person that's training May, is her name May? Is actually the guy that made the poison that's following her around the whole time. People are saying that may be who he is, because when they did land on the planet to try to find the Jedi Wookiee, there's 3 canisters that changes of clothes, but there's only 2 people. Was that his secret outfit to become the Dark One and become the Jedi at the end of the episode? This episode really did piss me off, because not only was the ending was a cliffhanger, if you guys saw the episode, but it was a 30-minute episode, which was fucked up. 30 minutes, bro. Like, that don't even make no sense. And then for the fact that, it's 9 Jedis about to fight 1 person. All the Dark One does is flick their wrist, uses the Force, and blows them all out the way. Cliffhanger and a half. But there is a theory that, I don't, names aren't especially in Star Wars, aren't really my best thing here, but we did see the witch with the horns, who was one of the mothers of Mai and Osha. People are saying that could be her. She could be the Dark One, and the guy that makes the poisons and stuff could be her son. We don't know yet, but they didn't really give us much to work with in this episode 4, because again, it just came back straight from that flashback, and in this whole episode we just saw Mai trying to go out there and find the Wookiee Jedi. The Wookiee Jedi, I think, is such a big reveal for these Star Wars shows, for there to be, because we already know how we feel about Chewbacca. 7-foot tall ass, Wookiee hairy ass, bear looking Yeti thing. But for him to have Jedi powers, have a lightsaber, and be able to use the Force, come on now, bro. And for him to be killed, or her, I think it was a guy, but for him to be killed off, it was an animal, so it could be non-binary. Don't get at me for that. But either ways, just for them to be killed off, like not even show it. Either the lead up was crazy. We thought we're gonna see a super battle out there, but we just get to the house where the Wookiee lives, and they already had a slash through his chest, like somebody was there. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like the Dark One got there first and killed the Wookiee, or people are kind of theorizing maybe that he ate some poison and killed himself and was already dead when the Dark One got there, and the Dark One slashed him to make sure he was dead. Either way, it's starting to become a mind freak, a mind fuck, if you will. And I don't know what is going on anymore. I just kind of know that the Dark One is probably feeding May or Mai false information, brainwashed her into thinking that the Jedi were bad. And then ultimately, in the end, she's going to become good. They're going to get together with her sister, and they're going to fight the Dark One, blah, blah, blah. After probably the main Asian Jedi dude, who's, again, coincidentally from Hunger Games. The Hunger Games. What's that shit called? The Squid Game. If you guys didn't notice, he was the main character in Squid Game. I forgot exactly what the Jedi Master's name was. That trained Osha and took her in, but he learned English for this role in particular, which was interesting to me. But either way, I think he's probably gonna die. I think Mai becomes a good guy. One of the twins may have to die, because I don't know if they're going to just let her have killed a whole bunch of people and just get away with it, me personally. But who knows? These Star Wars shows have been taking weird ass directions for years now, so we don't know. But let me just see here. Hold on one second. I gotta do dual cameras real quick for y'all. I'm sorry, but The Boys, we are back. Boys episode 1 through 4. We talked about it a little bit on the episode previewing it when Damon was here, but we didn't actually watch the shows yet. We were right next to the premiere, but we watched them now, and shit gets crazy right back where we left off. I think it's right off of Gen V. We get back to the 7 in Vought, and Homelander is crazy as ever before. This season, I think he's dealing with his mortality and some of the stuff from his past, and just kind of the runoff of last season when he just killed a protester in broad daylight, and everybody was like, yeah, he deserved it type shit. It's getting crazy. We're seeing the ultimate gore. We're seeing the ultimate, the ultimate mind freak of, oh, what am I watching? The nastiness, the vulgarness is back. Billy the Butcher, Huey and company are back. Starlight is back. We got new characters. Firecracker, who's supposed to be this right side kind of like politician that's out there talking shit, and we get a whole bunch of political views and stuff like that. It gets kind of convoluted with the political stuff, but me personally, I'm just happy we got the crew back. Kimiko, Frenchie, Mother's Milk, we out here kicking ass. I love the fact that they're juxtaposing the relationship with humans and superheroes. Superheroes, if they weren't the good old boys like Superman, Batman, and everybody else portrayed in superheroes nowadays, what if the superheroes were self-centered assholes that didn't give a fuck about anybody but themselves? And that's what we're getting from the boys. We got that episode seasons 1 through 3. They got approved for season 5 already, so I'm just excited to see this season. Episodes were nuts. Just the way that they're going now. We see Huey going through some things. We see Starlight going through some things. We see Mother's Milk dealing with some things. Just coming. Everything's coming full circle. And I'm excited to see what happens, man. Gen V was a hit. All the shit that was happening in there. We were excited to see how it carries over. And we're excited to see if Homelander actually finally dies. Is he going to have his comeuppance? But it doesn't seem like that's happening. Homelander is one of my least favorite characters in the world. Stormfront was pretty bad when she was on the seasons, but just seeing him now, man, I just wish that Billy the Butcher was not dying. I wish they were able to keep those powers. We never know. Maybe those powers will manifest in Billy the Butcher, Huey. We see A-Train making a full circle turn as well. No spoilers, but we spoiling it. I'm sorry. It's just a lot, man. Boys season 4. If you haven't seen 1 through 3, go watch it now. Go watch Gen V. I'm jealous of you if you haven't seen it, because to be able to binge that now, it'll be a good time. Definitely be a good time. Yeah. I want to go over it episodically, but it's like, it's kind of hard to start. It's kind of hard to start because shit happens all over the place. I think it kind of piggybacks off of Gen V, where Counselor Newman, the head popping soup posing as a politician, wants to find a way to kill, and everybody else does in the government, wants to find a way to kill Homelander, because the soups have now just crossed the line. They're doing whatever they want to do. So they kind of have to find a way to kill Homelander, and they did that in Gen V. They came up with like some kind of poison, but you still have Billy Butcher and the other boy characters trying to kill Homelander as well. They tried with Soldier Boy in last season, but it didn't happen. They found out that Soldier Boy was actually Homelander's father, and it kind of fell off the wayside there. So they feel like this poison now can do the job, but at the same time, they have new characters in the boys in the Vought 7 that are kind of foiling everything that Billy Butcher, Huey, and the boys are trying to do. You have Sister Sage, who is the smartest person in the world, kind of a riff off of Reed Richards from Fantastic Four. She's helping Homelander come up with these plans to supersede the government's plots and Starlight's plots to overthrow Homelander in his way of thinking. Homelander wants to be able to be free reign, do whatever he wants, kill whoever he wants, you know what I'm saying, for the benefit of him, and just have his son kind of take over the reins when he dies, if he dies, which I think is kind of going to start a trouble too, because I feel like Homelander wants to be the one and only, the top superhero in the world forever, as long as he wants to. And anybody who had any authority over him, he eventually wants them to die. He's probably going to kill them just because he feels like they're the only people that know him, or the people that are able to keep him in check. We saw him go back to where he was created, or the lab that he was tested on. They put him in the oven, set him on fire when he was a kid. They what else did they do? They would put him in dark rooms and just close him in there for days at a time. I guess they caught him pleasuring himself one time in his cell where they had him locked up. And right in the middle of climax, somebody walked in on him, and they gave him the nickname Squirt from then on. And that kind of stuck with him for the rest of his life, kind of attributing to his split personalities and his need for love. And though he's a superpowered villain that can't really be hurt by anything, superpowered and all that shit, all he really wants is to be loved and accepted. But he's traumatized by his past and the shit that happened to him in his past. Supposedly, when he was born, he lasered out of his mother's womb, killing his mother right away. But I think in the show, they showed that I think they showed when he was being taken away from his mother to be experimented on, he squeezed her so hard that he killed her type shit. I understand that you can't really show somebody lasering out of a womb in a TV show, though The Boys is fucking crazy as hell as it is. I think that would be a little much, but hey, what he did to dude that called him squirt was a little much in the long run. He lasered his penis off. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you gotta watch the scene, I don't want to. I'm not gonna put AKA don't put any clips of this part here. If you've seen this, that shit is wild. The shit that you'll see in The Boys, you probably don't watch this with your kids, but again, it's crazy. Again, it gives you guys, if you guys watch the comic books, you guys already know what you're in for. But again, we need this side. Like, I think Invincible and The Boys are the sides of superhero shows and cartoons that we actually need. You know what I'm saying? We've been getting for years. The superheroes are goody goody two shoes that can do no wrong, though the government is scared of them and do shit sometimes that they don't understand and try to take out the superheroes that we love. But in The Boys, they give justification for it because you have your superhero type character, you have your Flash type character, and all these characters on the surface that you think are super good guys, but you go to find out that all the A-Train saves were scripted and filmed to make look like they're saves. You saw Maeve and Homelander just break through that airplane and kill everybody and just let them die. You know what I'm saying? Whenever they feel like it. If they don't want to save somebody, they ain't gonna do it, and they're gonna have Vought cover it up and make it seem like it wasn't their fault. So that alone makes them hella dangerous. And the government knows that, the boys know that. They've lost so many people due to these superheroes, and these superheroes like receive no kind of, action towards them. They don't get in trouble at all. Homelander basically killed Billy the Butcher's girl, or well, yeah. What happened was Billy Butcher's the girl got taken advantage of, like the big R word, and got pregnant, had a kid while she was with Billy the Butcher, who ended up not being his kid, ended up being Homelander's kid from the big R. You know what I'm saying? So that alone can make you want to kill somebody. Huey, you already know his girlfriend got ran through in the first episode by A-Train. So from then on, he's been dealing with the hatred for Soups. Kimiko, she was, she was in a child camp and created and made into a monster to kill a whole bunch of people. Frenchie was an assassin who was on drugs that killed a bunch of people. And all these people in Mother's Milk, I think somebody in his family was beaten to death by a superhero. I think that happened in one of the seasons. He was able to reflect on that as well. So all of them have their hatred for a superhero and a good reason for it. The superheroes these aren't superheroes that are on Earth from, alien countries or mutants that were made, or mutants that just genetically have superpowers. A lot of the Vought in the Seven superheroes were created in labs. There were kids that were injected with the serum, or kids born of people that were injected with the serum, and they were pretty much given these superpowers. So a lot of the time, people have a problem with this. Of course, the government does, especially if they don't have control over these superheroes. So we always see that in these shows and cartoons as well. So for us to have the other point of view from the humans that hate the superheroes and the superheroes that actually be assholes, and for the ones that were assholes to come full circle and actually become good guys, it makes the story cool. It makes the story really cool. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Man, the human centipedes part, oh my gosh, like in the play on the superpowers, like we have Mr. Fantastic, you know what I'm saying, how he stretches. One of the characters in the show, only one part of his body can stretch. Yeah, it's that part of your body. You know what I'm saying? The boy, it's just crazy. If you haven't read the books, you really don't understand the kind of vulgarness, the kind of shit that they show you, but it makes it fun, man. If you could handle it and you got the stomach for it, go watch it right now. It's on Amazon. And then we had the House of the Dragons return. Man, House of the Dragons was one of the more confusing ones for me to kind of get back into because it was so long since season one, so many names, and it's also a prequel. And during the show, the first episode, they did a whole bunch of more flashbacks to people from the original Game of Thrones, their descendants. Oh man, it was nuts. But ultimately, it was slow to start off. But I'm happy it's back. First and foremost, before I actually, you know what I'm saying, get too much into it. But spoiler alert, I'm just gonna get into what I saw from the episode. Basically, this picks up right from when Rhaenyra's son gets killed by was it Aemond? Is Aemond his name? Targaryen, his brother, her brother. I don't know. The family relations, it gets hella confusing, but basically I think it was her brother, it was her dad's son by Allison, right? And he goes and kills, they get in that conflict we saw last season, and the big ass dragon bites the son's dragon in half and he dies. Rhaenyra finds out about it, and she's still dealing with the after effects of losing her son in this episode. So we see her kind of mourning and shit like that, trying to go find the remains of her son to kind of like get proof that it's right. But then we got Daemon Targaryen still at, man, that relationship fucking weird too. She married her uncle. So we have Daemon Targaryen waiting for Rhaenyra to get back as she's mourning, who's just ready to go to war with the High Towers and with Aemon and everybody, just because that's what he feels like he should happen. We always know Daemon to be that guy that's ready. He's ready about that action, ready to fight, ready to go to war, especially, when there's disrespect like that, your son getting killed. Though Rhaenyra is supposed to be the person calling the shots in the council of Rhaenyra's like, no, we shouldn't make any moves until we hear from Rhaenyra, though we know Rhaenyra's gonna want revenge no matter what. But yeah, we don't want Daemon going out there and starting wars and engaging in war when it hasn't really been officially wartime. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do. Though it wasn't on purpose by Aemon, it still happened. So there's going to be consequences. And their families have been going back and forth since Aemon lost his eye. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to get back from the brother that took his eye accidentally in a little fight. But it went way too far. It went way too far. She should have never sent her son south anyway, while the other one went north. They should have kept them together. But when we did see the other son go north, we saw the descendant of the Starks out there in the wall that, and it did a little prequel of we saw the Night Watch and we saw the little prequel of the Night King. There's something out there. It's not just wildlings and animals or whatever. There's something out there. We wouldn't build a 800-foot ice wall for nothing type shit. A little prequel. Hopefully today, or when we watch this new episode of House of Dragons, we get to see a little bit more action. But ultimately, in this episode, it kind of just set up, first of all, that soldier that used to be Rhaenyra's love interest before she started dating Daemon, which is weird as fuck too, her personal bodyguard. Rhaenyra should have just gave him some. You know what I'm saying? Why she gotta fuck with her, excuse me, fuck with her uncle? I understand trying to keep that bloodline pure, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's weird. I'm surprised. I mean, it is a fictional show, so that's probably why you didn't see a whole bunch of inbred kind of like diseases and handicaps from these people, because they're just having sex with a whole bunch of their family members. Is just kind of weird. But yeah. Anyways, for that personal bodyguard to be eating, giving Allison Hightower that work now, and just being a personal bodyguard, flipping sides, I think he's gonna get his comeuppance too. I'm sorry, I forgot who he killed last season on some jealous shit, but he killed somebody, and he's unhinged. I think he's gonna do something stupid for Allison, try to kill somebody, one of the Targaryens. Yeah. King Viserys' sister. Yeah, I think something's gonna happen to her. I don't know why, but just everybody with the dragons, I just think they need to watch their backs, because the dragons are gonna play a big part in the war that has been started. But after Rhaenyra gets back, she proclaims she wants Aemon's head for killing her son, which sends Daemon Targaryen into action to try to get somebody that kind of knows the Hightower household and Aemon and them's household, the castle. I guess it was the Rat Keeper. He went in to go, find some rat, or went in to pretend to be a rat catcher, to go find Aemon's whereabouts so he can kill him. But ultimately, something terrible happens. They do get in the house. For some reason, there's nobody around, and these two niggas can just walk around during war times, where they should be the most paranoid. These fools are just walking around the house. They eventually make it to the king's son. Aemon is not the son's name. I want to figure out. Hold on, let me see real quick. I have to get these names right, because if I don't, it's gonna bug me forever. Aemon is the one with one eye, right? He's not the one that's on the throne. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, Aemon is the one with the one eye. Who's the king now? Aegon. Oh yeah, Aegon, of course. That was a newborn baby that they thought Aegon was supposed to be the king, but he wasn't. Oh yeah, so that's what it was. That's what it was. So Aegon has some kids. who were the heirs to the throne. The son was the heir to the throne. Obviously, he had a son and a daughter by his sister. Oh my God. This shit gets so complicated and so weird. But yeah, anyways, he has 2 kids by his sister. Aegon does. He has one daughter, one son. They really went in there, the rat catcher, to kill Aemon, but they did see that the king's son and daughter and the heir was in the throne, or in there sleeping in his room. Again, the wife / sister was sitting there. They come in there and hem her up and says, which one's the son? We're going to kill the son, or else we kill both of the kids and you. She points to the son and runs out with the daughter. I don't know if that was really the son that they kill, but it makes it seem like she might have sacrificed the daughter to save the son, but he may have given up the son to save the daughter in this reign of the Hightower / Targaryens type shit. I don't know exactly what happens, but all I do know is they kill the shit out of a kid in this episode, which was unexpected, and the jaw dropper for the episode for me. You hear the crunching and scratching of the knife when they stab the. Oh my God! I was like, this is what we're doing right now. Like the first episode, they killed us with boredom the whole first half of the episode, and then at the end, they're just gonna kill a baby, and this just let us go. Whoa. But again, episode 2, 74 minutes. Episode 1 was an hour episode. They said episodes 1 and 2 were the longest episodes of the series. Episode 1, 60 minutes. Episode 2, 74. So I'm excited to see that. And hopefully there's no more baby killing, because that is nuts. That shit was crazy. House of Dragons, y'all should be ashamed of your goddamn selves. Who knows what's going to happen? It's all-out war now, of course, after you killed the heir to the throne. We'll see what happens, but that was that. How about that, y'all? That brings us to the end of the podcast, where I like to let them know where you can find me at. It's Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat, SAC_Lydell on the Instagram. If you're looking for the podcast anywhere, Best of Bias on the Instagram, Best of Bias on TikTok, and Best of Bias on YouTube. AKA, again, thank you for all the videos you do. Sorry, guys, for not having many promos, but I'm going to try to get back into the promo game, man. I need those for the Instagram. Check out Instagram stories for all the updates and stuff we may be talking about this weekend. Oh, yeah, and I might have forgot to talk about my May saver for this week, but Stephen A., they're trying to give him a whole bunch of money. He turned down 5 years, $90 million, saying that he wants more. As more information comes out this week, we'll probably report on it next week. I meant to throw it in there during the coaching hires, but Stephen A., give him all his money. He deserves it. He's holding ESPN down on every show, every sport, so you might as well just give him all the money he deserves, or he asked for. But anyways, again, when you guys watch this episode, I don't know what day it's going to be releasing, Sunday, Monday, towards that time. Sorry about the late release, but I will, again, I'm probably going to be I'm out of town on Thursday. So this actually I might not give you guys a pod next week. I apologize. I am traveling again. I forgot. So I'm gonna have to leave you guys with this beat to step to. At least I'm telling you guys this week, and I remembered at the very end, because I am traveling back to San Diego. We out there. We're going to the State Fair, going to see V-Rons. We are going to turn up again, but we will be back bright and early next week. It's your boy Lydell Dinero. Hey, go call me, hit me up if you need some more merch. I still got plenty of merch here. Plenty of room for guests. Fantasy football is coming up. Anything, I can get Chelsea and Damo back on, but I know I want to diversify the guests. AKA should be back soon. Yeah, we're going to do this whole thing. LA Comic-Con coming soon. Movie, third year in a row. Let's go. It's coming. Everything is coming. We got the gaming. You see the PlayStation back there. Best of Bias gaming. We're gonna start twitching a lot more. Watch me play some Call of Duty. Watch me play College Football 25. All that shit. We're gonna be into it real soon. So I'm gonna start plugging my gamer tag a lot of times when I'm online. Maybe go live. Let you guys know that I'm online, going live. Get a lot more of the shit started. So it's not just podcasts. A lot more content. A lot more diversity for you guys. I know, again, there's different stuff that you guys like. There's different stuff that I like. You like the pod, you get the pod. You like the YouTube videos, you got the YouTube videos. You want to watch me stream some games, watch that as well. A lot of shit coming down the pike, and there's still that comic book and that story me and the gang got going. So don't worry, bro. Best of Bias ain't going nowhere. You see all these other pods come and go. You see these pods drop off and not be consistent. I'm always consistent, baby. I'm gonna be here for y'all. It's the Best of Bias podcast. And if there's anything I missed next week due to me being out of town, I got y'all next week. But love y'all. Enjoy these dog days of sports. Go watch some WNBA, some regular season baseball, some golf from time to time. You know what I'm saying? Prize Picks, You got me this weekend. I'm gonna holler at y'all if y'all want to sponsor the pod. You know, I always say holler at me, email me, hit the email, hit me up in the YouTube comments. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk some more Prize Picks. But anyways, excuse me. Thank you guys for being here. Again, you could have clicked on any podcast in the world, but decided to be here with your boy Lydell Dinero, and I'm grateful for that. Hey, till next time, it's the Best of Bias podcast, and it's the best of Bias. Love y'all.
It's the best of Bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of Bias. Your best of Bias. Yeah, it's the best of Bias.